The phone's good, mate. It's what you can do with phones these days is bloody unreal.
Oh, it's crazy.
All right, dude, we're live. So, yeah, how was your weekend, mate? What did you get up to, buddy?
Mostly work, but yeah, just had the markets here, in his night market, so I took the kids out to first time I've sort of done anything like that for a while, just in crowds and stuff. So yeah, it was good.
It's kind of weird when you first get back into it, right? When you're back in a crowd and you're like the
Yeah,
first one for us, dude, was like earlier, so later last year when we were back in an airport in Germany and in Europe. Like it was this COVID didn't exist. It was heaving, and you're just like
yeah,
a little bit nervous, and then after a while, it sort of comes back to life, right?
yeah. You got the checklist, you've got the space, and like wearing a mask, and like doing this and that. Yeah,
Absolutely, mate. Hey guys, good morning, everyone. Obviously, you can see here with my sexy buddy Danny Boy. We're going to be kickstarting this podcast in a couple of weeks. Sorry, a couple of weeks. Fucking hell, a couple of minutes. So make sure that you do come in and let me know in the comments if you're watching this one live. So I can see all the kings coming in to get amongst with Dan. How are you, Tezza? You well, mate? Hope you had a beautiful weekend, Tez. Good morning, Nico. How are you, mate? Matty Harvey's here. What a legend. How are you, Matty? Nick Friend here. Nick, you're becoming so consistent, my dude. So good. Now we're going to get started on this episode in a minute or so, guys. So let us know if you are coming in live. Have you got any trips coming up planned, mate, or you're sort of knee deep in work and can't really get away at the moment?
yeah. Not much. So we're just sort of save it for the end of the year, I think. Just
Mm.
yeah, nothing big coming up. Just to get back to a bit of normal
Yeah.
life, I think.
Dude, I love that. I love that. It was funny. Like I was sitting here yesterday with my family, and obviously just the three of us, and I was just thinking to myself, like, this is the happiest place for me. Like
Yeah,
just being at home, wherever home is at that moment with my daughter and my missus is like you can go out and you can have these really nice dinners, but as I posted in the group, we just had these nice homemade hamburgers. They were simple, they were beautiful, and it was just that's just my space, you know. So I totally
yeah,
get what you're
yeah.
saying there. All right, Jen. Good morning, love. How are you? All the way from the UK. You got a global audience here, pal. So Tara, how are you, mate? I hope you and Rusty had a great weekend. Good morning, Ovo. How are you, legend? Fantastic video. Kim Bud's in here as well. Kimbo, what's going on, mate? I hope you're well. Well, on that note, guys, I think we might get started with King Dan. I think that's enough prelude. You ready to rock and roll, Danny boy?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, on the count of five, four, three, two, and one. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you are sick of the dumb diets, the unsustainable workout programs. Happy Monday to you guys. I hope you've had a beautiful weekend. Of course, I just realized that I'm still playing my background music, so I've got to kill that. That's pretty silly. We're here with one of our best ever Academy clients. His name is Dan Troutman. How are you, Dan? Good morning.
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, really good, guys. The reason I'm bringing Dan on to the podcast this morning, I wanted to get him on for a while, but it was a little bit kind of fast tracked because I received a message off one of our other coaches, my sister, in fact, and inside that message, she said that one of so her partner Shane, he lost another mate to essentially a heart attack after a footy game. Um, this young gentleman, only young family. He's an Indigenous man, just like Dan, and I just felt like it was the right time to bring this up and talk about it. So we want to go into that eventually, but really, Dan's story is beyond inspiring. And if you stick for the whole of this podcast, you're going to hear about a guy that has completely transformed his life and has goals to want to help others do the exact same thing. So, welcome to the podcast, Dan. So, dude,
Yeah.
let's go all the way back to say maybe a bit over 12 months ago. if you can give us a bit of an idea of where you're at, like what was going on, what was the state of your health, maybe physically and mentally.
Well, back then, like a bit over a year ago, I was working two jobs. So I was working 7 days a week, and um, I was just sort of flat out, and I didn't really put the time in for myself. But even with the if I didn't have the second job, I was at least 1 or 2 days a week. I was always set aside with me to say with my brother or a friend. We just That was like it was on a Thursday or a Friday night where
Mm-hmm.
we just yeah we'd have a drink, but it'd be like a big night. It'd just be at home, but it'd be that was like a set thing for the week, just to deload sort of thing from work because
Mm.
just to get all the stress. That was the excuse sort of thing. But yeah, smoked smoked cigarettes. Yeah, just a lifestyle. Just trying to keep up with my kids. Like I've got me kids, and I was just tried my best with them. I just wasn't in any shape to really give them anything back.
Mm.
Um,
So for the audience, where are you based at, and how many kids do you actually have?
I'm in Dubbo. I've got two kids, but between me and my partner, we've got six.
Yeah.
Some are most of them are a bit older, but mine are only sort of my kids. With a daughter of she's 10, and my young fella's 6, turning 7
Yeah.
next month.
So, dude, like, I can imagine like, I can imagine why you're drinking a few beers to deal with it, to deload, as you put it. Because if you've got, like, I've got one kid and it's stressful. Like, having, like, a combined between you and your partner, six kids, like, that must get pretty hectic at times.
Yeah, well, that was sort of my time. Like I'd sit at the back and just put the projector on at the back, like my telly, and just sit at the back and well, the kids would come out there and sit with me and stuff. But in the back of my mind, there was always I'm not setting a good example for them. They're out of here
Right.
while I'm smoking cigarette after cigarette and having a drink. Like even after work, I'd finish work and I think it's just that thought in my head like I've finished work, so I've got to have a beer.
Mm,
Even if it's only one or two or three or 10, it's
mm.
just that's just the thing they come with finishing work, I guess. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was just my time to myself, even if I was doing it on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. So it had become, I guess, a little bit habitual. And what impact, dude, had that had on your physical health? Like your weight, how big did you get up to? Like what impact did maybe the behaviors actually have in your life?
I think I was up to around about 120. Could have been more than that. I'm not even really sure. But I went to do a health check. And I had really high blood pressure. Like I was in heart attack, stroke range. Yeah, and I was just had no energy. I could just yeah, I couldn't breathe. I'd snore. I'd wake up in the mornings with sore throat from just snoring all night. Yeah, just wasn't good. I was waiting like well, I've got heart attack, heart disease on both sides of my family, my
Hmm.
mother's and father's side,
Hmm.
and it was got to a point where I'd wake up. Look, because I do I do night shifts as well.
Hmm.
Um, I'd wake up and I not know where I am, and I'd be struggling to breathe, and I'd be like thinking, "Oh, is this it? Like it's come? Like it's kind of like I accepted it. It was going to happen
Wow.
eventually." But I always thought, like, I'll get in the shape and do something, but I'll do it tomorrow. It's always tomorrow.
Mm.
Yeah. So it
So
was,
hang on. So just so we can kind of paint a picture, how old are you?
I turned 40 last year.
Wow.
So I'm
Okay.
41.
Okay, so Dan, when he starts in the academy, he's 40 years old. He's 120 kilos. He smokes a lot. He drinks a moderate amount. He has two parents that he has genetics for heart attack. He's an indigenous man. Anything else that you want to chuck in there? And he's got six kids and he works night shift. Um, that is a recipe for disaster. that is a recipe for disaster. You know, in terms of ticking the risk factors for something going wrong, that's like every single possible risk factor almost ticked. So, dude, for you to have the courage to do something about this is really beyond my comprehension. Like I can say, oh, well done, like great, that's the incredible Dan, but I actually have no idea how hard it actually is. So when you are in that sort of state, did you feel as dire as it actually is factually, or were you just kind of like, all right, I've got a bit of time here, I kind of have to do something about it, I guess? Like, was it pressing for you?
Always thought I had a bit of time to do it, but it was getting away. Like I think one of the tipping points for me was I'd always like I still I'd wear my shirts. Like, I used to wear like singlets underneath my shirts to sort of suck me in. So I was trying to hide it, trying to keep me sort of figure a little bit. But then I got to a point where I'm sort of I'll just accept it. I'm like I'm fat. I just got to accept it. And then I was just from there. I was just like I just didn't really care. And then I thought I've got to do something about this. And I think when you reached out, it was right at the right time. Yeah, that it happened because I felt like like I was in my head and I was like I was talking myself into an early grave. Because I was just thinking, um, is is this it? Is this the time? Like if I have this short of breath and I'd have this scenario in my head, like what would I do? If it happened, like just so in case it happened, so I'm not panicking. But yeah, it became like it turned into reality for me.
Fuck, that's like that to me is like so scary. I'm I'm sitting here with my daughter yesterday, and I turned 40 in a couple of months, and I remember reading a comment that one of our clients made on an intake form, and he said the idea of leaving my two kids behind
Yeah,
scares the shit out of me. And,
yeah,
and uh, I was sitting here yesterday with my daughter having this kind of moment and this thinking like, imagine I'm just not here tomorrow and these guys are on their own. Like that
yeah,
scares the fuck out of me. And I can
yeah.
imagine that must scare when you're just not in a great shape. That must be scary. And so how do you how do you process that as a man, dude? Like, did you have decent support structures around you, or was this very much I needed to just make a decision in myself?
Yeah, I just had to do it. Really, like I had that little support there, but pretty much I just come to the day where those you sort of reached out. It's like this is it, no more excuses. If I want to do it, I've got to do it because that was the biggest fear for me, like leaving my kids because they're only sort of young and they rely on me so much. Like my son and my daughter. So my daughter is from a previous
Mm.
relationship, and they're really close. And I thought if something happens to me, what's going to happen to their relationship? Are they going to grow up apart and not see each other for however long? Like,
Mm.
and yeah, and they dote over me so much, and it's like I grew up without my father around. Like back in the days when the technology wasn't as good as it is now.
Mm.
When you get like a phone call, like um, it was 6 hours away, so you might see them once or twice a year, and then phone calls sort of very rarely. Um, but I just thought, like, what about if they can't even get on the phone with me? Um, yeah, I just thought, like, if, like, especially being like Aboriginal, I suppose we grow up where families like everything to you,
Mm.
and like you think I'll die in a heartbeat for my kids, but they don't need me to die for them. They need me to live for them. That's what they need.
Fuck, guys, can you like write that? If you're watching this live and your hands are free, write that shit in the comments. They don't need me to die for them. They need me to live for them. Like that is what a fucking statement, dude. Um, how like at the start you were had you before you got into the BBA had you already given up smoking? or was this your next?
I was like a week in. So what happened was I'd had a big night on the Turks with me brother and me cousin, and um I don't know, and I think we ran out, and I think my cousin would have said, when did you just get off him? I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I'll get off him. And I've gotten home at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I've just threw it on Facebook, and I wake up. I forgot all about it. I wake up in the morning, and there's like all these comments like, yeah, you can do it and whatever else. So I thought it's out there now. I've got to do it, and I just haven't had one since. That's like that was what was that? That was yeah, that was the week before I started BBA. I think week and a half. So it'd be a bit over a year.
Wow. And so, guys, for kind of understanding or context, Dan is now sitting at what weight?
Around about 85, but sort of yeah, varies around about 85 kilos.
Okay, so he's floating around 85 kilos. He's very much back in the healthy zone here. So we're talking a turnaround of 30 to 35 kilograms. That blows my mind, and that's happened over the course of approximately 12 to 14 months. But when you started, Dan, what was kind of the first things you did after you kind of got on top of the smoking? What was the first things you did to kind of start your journey? What were the few first changes you made? Can you remember back to that time?
Yeah, I think just the mainly around my food. 'Cause that's the thing. Like I've grown up around in the like I've been active most of my life, like pretty much all my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I knew a bit about health and stuff like that, about nutrition and stuff.
Mm.
Like when I was younger, when I was in my teens, I trained the house down.
Yeah.
I was never really sort of ripped or anything, but I was pretty athletic. But just the knowledge, like I didn't know anything about nutrition at all. Like I did Google and stuff, so that was like the first big thing.
Is that true? Is that honestly true? Like so you realized you didn't really know what to do, so you started
oh,
googling stuff. So can you like give me an insight into what types of things you would Google?
like
What phrases?
food, food to burn fat. Apple cider vinegar benefits, all that kind of stuff, like exercise to to burn fat, things that could for your heart, things to clear up your arteries and stuff like
And
that.
so do you
Yeah,
think do you think that sorry mate, do you think there are many men like when they're sort of stuck in that zone, do you think that there are many men that do that? Like is that they start
oh,
researching and googling and
100%, yeah. Like I put a post up on our page the other day, but there's these protein cookies that keep popping up in my Facebook feed. They're it says the nutrition right there on like the advertising it, but it says like protein, health cookie, whatever it is. Like I put a post up and put it side by side with the nutrition from like a quarter pounder.
mm.
The quarter pounder was better, like in every sort of aspect.
So you're
It's things
saying
like that.
that they
I
would
don't
have
want that stuff.
back in the day they would have got you, they would have sucked you into that
Oh, yeah.
marketing and you would blindly just be like, why the fuck isn't this working?
It's like, oh yeah, it's a cookie. I'll get to eat a cookie and I'm get healthy.
Mm,
It's a quick little snack between meals.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm. Yeah, big time. Okay, so you got stuck into it and you started making some changes for the diet. Can you give me some examples? Like, did you obviously you started on a bit of a meal plan, which is the way we start all of our clients, but eventually it kind of transitions into what we call the freedom eating formula, and that is basically just getting to eat what you want, but with some basic targets. At the start, Dan, were you kind of confused, or was that transition where you were a bit like, actually, this is actually good food. Like, I'm enjoying this and I can spread it with my family.
Yeah, amazing. For like, I've seen things where they've told me. I've seen videos where to eat steak to eat this, and it just sounds too good to be true. But when I think the good thing about the program is like you get the knowledge with it, and everything just makes sense. Like you're not just telling people what to do. You're showing people how to do it so you can do it yourself. Um, yeah, once it makes sense, you can do whatever you want. You can make it.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it just opens everything up for you.
I
And
love
like
it.
you get to take control. I think like the best thing you could, like the best gift you could ever give someone is to empower somebody. You know, to give them empowerment to take control of their own life.
Dude, that's phenomenal. We we're 12 months in, and you're one of our long term members now. So where is your? Could you just suggest, like, everyone knows obviously your the amount of fat that you got strangling your heart now is significantly reduced. How did it feel to start getting back into some old shirts or some old pants that you were just like, these were destined for the bin?
Well, there's shirts that I kept around for ages, and some I haven't even worn. Like they're the ones that you still leave that you don't want to throw them out because you think I'm going to fit back into them one day. That's like you're getting there for a bit of motivation. But there's shirts that I've completely missed. Like I've gone back to put them on, they're too big, and I hadn't even got a chance to wear them. But
So
yeah,
it's the opposite
um,
problem. They're actually too big, and you've bought.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's sick. Wow,
yeah,
wow.
no, it's a really good feel. Like I think it's the little things. Like you'd be laying in bed and you feel like you have your hands on your stomach. You just feel it's a bit flatter, you know, and that feels more and more when you start to feel like a bit of definition. It's just while you're lying in bed, it's just those little things that you sort of, because it's that it's over the process and you're in the moment the whole time.
Mm.
You sort of miss you miss a lot of the wins that a lot of people that a lot of people see when they haven't seen you for like a week or two. So you just sort of you don't notice until you look back over your photos and things like that.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask
that's
I'm gonna ask you a couple of off the cuff questions, right? Because this is
yeah.
good, man. You can hold a crowd way better than I can. So, uh, do you ever catch yourself either at home at the gym and just like look at yourself in the mirror and give it a little bit of a flex and just go, yeah, fuck, like I've changed.
Nah, never done that before.
Bullshit.
Yeah. You do like you walk past like I remember when you start to see the definition and stuff come in on you start to clean up you see it and it's just sort of blows you on like you have to do like a double take. It's sometimes it just comes up like you feel it like I can feel it now that you feel the tightness and stuff. But when you actually see it, it's yeah it doesn't blow you mind.
All right, next random question. Is it quite strange? And you're going to think I'm joking, but I'm trying to point out some serious shit here. Like, is it quite strange that you can actually go for a piss now and actually see the old fella coming out the bottom? Mate, because the reality is, if you are in a position where you're just carrying so much weight,
Yeah.
that's something that, like, I can imagine I'd be thinking to myself, like, fuck, like that would be a thing for me. It sounds
Yeah,
stupid.
I was getting to the point. Yeah, I was getting to the point. No, like it's those little things you take, like little things like that, and even tying your shoelaces up. Like I remember when I started getting bigger, when I was younger, I thought that whole tying not being able to tie your shoes up was just a load of shit, like a joke.
Yeah.
Until I went down one day and I'm going, oh, holy shit! Like, it's I couldn't get down and tie my shoes up, and I started buying shoes like slip-on shoes with no laces or the dials on them
Oh.
because I couldn't tie my shoes up.
Dude, that's like it's like a midlife, point of which you've just reached where you've just changed the trajectory. And so where are you at now mentally, Dan? Do you think like I'm still very much a work in progress, or do you sort of feel that you're at the point of now your main goal is helping other people, or a bit of combination of what is it?
Yeah, a bit of both. Like I'm not done sort of doing like the catalyst for me starting was for my kids, but in saying that though, like it was for myself as well. Like if it was purely for my kids, I could have stopped 6 months ago,
Mm.
and they could have been around for years, you know. But now I've gone this far, but I want to see how far I can take it while I can do it, you know. Like
Mm.
just yeah, just for my own sort of satisfaction to see how far I can take it. But it's a sort of I didn't realize hey like but I've started doing a bit of like e-commerce stuff and everything, but it was only then sort of I realized that this has sort of turned into a real sort of passion of mine,
Mm.
and to be able to spread it in any sort of way is
Mm.
yeah I love it, especially in the with families and with the sort of Aboriginal community as well, I suppose, in Dubbo, because there's a big Aboriginal community around Dubbo and
Hmm.
sort of around the sort of west where I am.
Hmm.
But it's I'm getting to that age now where people you've grown up with, you've seen so many funerals of people that I've grown up with and stuff. Whether it's from their own sort of health issues or from suicide. But I, I think it all stems from the same place though. Like it's that there's a chink missing in the health where this needs to be something needs to be fixed, and I think there needs to be more support around every sort of aspect of the health. I think so.
Dude,
Yeah,
listen
I'm
to
trying
this.
to get this.
Listen
Sorry.
to this guy talking. Like this guy, a year ago, you would not have had the confidence to come on a platform like this and actually talk with passion and self belief. Right? It's it's just magical to see, Dan. I love it so much. Do you think so? So let's just talk specifically as we sort of wind this podcast to an end. Um, relative to specifically around the Indigenous health piece, do you think that we're missing something that needs to be more like it? Like what I get frustrated with is when the government says, oh, we're putting this money into this, we're doing these programs. It's like, how is this impacting on the ground? Like, what do you think needs to happen either as a internal to the Indigenous community as a cultural change or for support of the Indigenous? Do you see something that needs to happen?
I think things like in this program, you need to a bit of empowerment and let people know. Well, let them help them. Let people help themselves. Like teach them how to do it, and not tell them how to do it. I think and I think slowly that stigma around mental health and stuff has slowly been broken down. But um, it's still like a big. I don't know. There's something missing still. Something needs to be because like you see, like I said, you see too many sort of funerals and stuff around, and a lot of problems. I think a lot of it is to do with little things like technology and stuff, the way
Really?
it is. But
Can you
yeah,
explain that? Do you mean in terms of being able to connect to something in remote communities?
oh no, I think there's things around. I don't know, things about image and things. Maybe it's not really. Maybe it just coincides sort of with it because yes, it seems more prevalent because you see it more maybe.
Mm.
Where years ago you wouldn't have seen it as much
Right.
because of things. But I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know what else. Like one of the programs, so I'm looks like I might be starting a new job soon. It's on the just like a few days a week. It's just a program I might be doing. I'm doing training for it soon, I think. Where we're getting into it's a health program in the schools. It's only like after school program a few days a week with primary school kids to help with kids and parents and carers and stuff to try to improve the health while they're young, so it's instilled in
Mm.
them. So I think things like that where um, just got to instill things like that and confidence and knowledge and stuff into them while they're younger. So it grows, so they sort of embody it as they get older instead
Yeah.
of because when you get older, it's harder to take it all in. Once you've got the habits and that sort of, and you got that already got that foundation built, yeah, you want something in there to sort of seed it early.
Dude, I love that so much. Guys, if you would like me to ask Dan a question, please drop it in the comments. We've been pretty comprehensive here. I'm just going to ask sort of more finally from my side. What do you kind of have you still got some physical goals that you want to achieve? Like, where are you relative to sort of the completion of your physical transformation?
Still carrying a little bit of belly fat and stuff, but yeah, saying that though, like I just want to be able to just take it as far as I can. There's no real goal. Like I've come as as like it's just that if I just keep improving in what I'm doing and what I'm doing, I will.
Mm.
But there's no other real physical
I love
things that I
that.
really want to achieve. Yeah.
Okay, so
But
what gives you confidence that you can maintain this? Because I think a lot of people they lose a good amount of weight, but then they fall off the horse. So what gives you confidence that you can maintain it?
just the knowledge, like I know what I'm doing now. Like and my whole habits sort of changed. Like I've turned into a I'm not a man who's healthy. Same as like when I stopped smoking, like I stopped and I felt like a physical change in me when I decided not to smoke. It's
Hmm.
like like the week after I turned 40 the week after I stopped smoking, um, or a week or two after, and I on purpose, like I did it on purpose where I had a few beers, but didn't go overboard, but I sat with me with friends that were smoking. Like I didn't want to hide from it. I wanted to expose myself to it, just
Mm.
to just to show myself that I don't need it. Like because like I felt like if I hid away from it and tried to try to stay away from the cigarettes, I was still a smoker, but I just didn't smoke. But now, like I just sort of proved to myself that I'm not a smoker at all.
Wow.
Same thing with my health. It was the same sort of feel. It's like I proved it to myself then, and it's the same feel. Like I can do it with this thing as well.
Oh,
With
dude, that's so unreal, mate. Final question: is there something that you wish that I had have asked you during this chat, either for the kind of good of your Indigenous community or something that I missed?
um, not really. I don't think. Yeah, I think.
Okay, we've killed it. Good,
Yeah.
good. Okay, good stuff. All right, so I just want to read out a comment here from Adam. How lucky are your family to have a leader like you, Dan? And I think that is a very, very good finish to this podcast episode, Dan. Like, you know, I can talk to you for hours and hours and hours about this, but I really can't I can't comprehend personally the transformation that has happened, yes, to you externally, but in your mind to go from that guy who had a level of fear, who felt, stuck and undecided about what kind of future holds, to being a guy that's like so freaking consistent and that people are looking up to, and you're now external and internal to the BBA, a leader and a mentor. Like, that is mind blowing to me. And it's happened in such a short period of time. When you think about 12 months, like, that's not a very long period of time in the drop of a 40-year-old life. So, bro, I wanted to congratulate you, firstly. Uh, just say publicly, man, um, this is the happiest shit that happens inside a BBA when I see these types of transformation, because it just fills my cup so much. We've got Chris saying, when's he starting to coach in the BBA? We've got Trav saying, this change is all encompassing. I love you, brother. So, dude, um, just so impressed, so proud. And, to all of the Indigenous gentlemen that hopefully watch this, and I know it's not just about this, but you've got a guy here who is really a leader in your community, not because he's just told everyone what to do, is because he's living it. He's a 41-year-old guy with 17,000 kids, and he is living it. It's just like, ooh. Final comment. Love your work, brother. You're an inspiration to all the mob back home. And that is beautiful, Jai. Dan, thanks for coming on the podcast this morning at very short notice. Guys, this has been the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets, the unsustainable workout programs, when you're ready to lean into something where you can trust the process and be surrounded by men like Dan to guide you on their way. I'll see you guys in the next episode.